When you were talking to people across Canada, what were some common misconceptions that people had about opioid addiction, or maybe your story, or drugs in Canada? Because I'm assuming that you ran into a lot of people who were very heavy-minded in their ways, either super pro or super anti drugs in general. So what was your experience in talking with those people, and what did you kind of get from that, or give?
I would say that's even more prevalent now than it was even back then. Because, one, that addiction is a moral failing and a choice. And, like, if it was just that easy of stopping, like, treatment facilities would not exist. Like, therapy would not exist. And, like, you know what I mean? It's not just, and to some degree, there is some ownership you have to take to overcome that. But it's not just as easy as, like, just stop. Like I fucking tried to stop it, but like many a times, but like it's the brain is the most complicated organ in the body, and it's a chronically relapsing condition. So you figure out how to work with it, and you figure out what the underlying, because many, not all the time, but many a times that there's some underlying unresolved issue, whether that be some childhood trauma or some whatever that is, that that use of alcohol or drugs is the thing that blunts that pain. And that's what then your default comes to. That's how I cope with these different, with stressful situations. And, or like the person who goes out to for a pint after work, like at a bar. Yeah, well, yeah, you have one or two, then you go home, and then you're like, well, yeah, I'll have a third, and then the weekend comes, okay, yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to have 5 or 6. And then next thing you know, you're going every day, and you're like, okay, now my normal's 5, 6, but you didn't mean to get there, but you did. And so it can start as easily as innocent as that. It could start masking things. Like there's a lot of complexities within addiction that I think people, and really to no fault of their own, they're just not educated enough in it to they take a very hard line stance and a hard line approach to it, when I view that more of a lack of education and understanding. Like I said, the brain's the most complex organ in the body. It's like the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. And it's not a binary or black and white situation. There's many shades of gray in between. And it's just it's addiction is very complicated, and not to mention concurrent disorders like depression, anxiety, or people with ADHD that can play into substance use. Or if you have a parent who has alcohol use disorder, there's a higher probability that you may, because of that line. So there's like all these different things that play into it, that when the person on the outside looking in is like, why are they doing that? Well, how much time do you got? Like, like I could explain this for you for hours, but there is a very kind of a, I don't know, there's been a divide within the recovery community, so to speak, and then the kind of like harm reduction community, meaning like the people with the safe supply and advocates and stuff like that. It's I don't know. I find just society in general is just a very polarizing time. It doesn't even matter what the issues are, but that happens to be one of those things too. Having this idea of wanting to ride across Canada, it excited me so much, and I could see a future now where I could be happy, where it pulled me out of where I was rather than me pushing the boulder up the hill. It just pulled me towards this thing that I just dreamt of, and it was my sole focus on making it happen.